Welcome back to Range Anxiety TV, and it's excitement time, and because it's excitement time, I've got the excitement machine. It's
me, the excitement machine. Hey world, hey Marty, hey babe.
Babe. I did a thing. I said I wasn't
done
going
it
to do
again.
it. Whoops.
That's twice now.
Sorry, Brittany. She's got daddy issues.
There. See what you
Now, I've done a thing,
right.
and I said I wasn't going to do it till I got the actual performance figures, but I couldn't help myself.
Right.
I did order first. I was sitting there clicking, click, refresh. I did order a Model 3 Performance, and I'm that excited. I even need my notes about it. See my notes.
The list of things you optioned, or
Well, it was supposed to. No, I went base. You know what I mean? It's like, what did they call it in the Mustangs? Like the Hertz pack, or the rent.
the lightest one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got manual windows to get the weight down, that sort of thing.
Yeah, manual choke. I'm missing my Space Wizard one. I wonder, hang on. Is that what I could feel in my pocket? So I went white, black interior, that's what I wanted to do because it shows off the body detailing better, yada, 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 yada.
Yep.
Now, it's not a Ludicrous. That's not the name.
That's weird because that's what you've been calling it. That's what I thought.
It's got the Ludicrous badge on the back.
But that's just the look, isn't it? It doesn't say...
Ludicrous was always a performance mode. You got chill, standard, and then Ludicrous. And that was what the badge entails, even though the earlier P85D S-classes that had Ludicrous never had a Ludicrous badge. So this is all confusing. But when you get in a new Model 3 Performance, you don't have Ludicrous mode. You've got Insane mode instead. Insane. So it's going to be insane.
So it's not Ludicrous, though?
No.
Which is better? Would you rather be insane or ludicrous? Is there...
Well, I spent 50-odd years being insane.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's more of the
About time I went ludicrous. Now, I don't even know how fast this is because there's all this consternation about different specs for Europe and Asia and the US, and we'll go through that in a minute. Some cool things about it, those warp wheels, which are staggered, like I said they were. They're 275s on the rear and 235s on the front.
That's cool.
They're made by HRE, who are an American wheel company, so they're pretty good. And they've got clip-in, clip-out aero blades or whatever, but I just leave them clipped in. They look fine like that. It's got ventilated seats, which we knew, which is cool, so that bolster you a bit better. Like the old car, like the legacy car that I still currently have, made me an offer. Throw it around the corner, you can be in the passenger's lap. It's a bit like a Commodore.
Yep. There's no contour, no bolstering.
Yeah, there is, but it's not enough for a car that can generate that much.
No, they look pretty flat.
They are pretty flat.
So the seats, they're a big step up.
Yeah, they need to be, and they might be a little bit higher, so I'm, taller, so it's a bit of a step up in that regard.
Because I'll say, and this is what I felt all along, and most people I know, they're pretty bland inside, aren't they? They almost needed a little bit of a...
Well,
it's the performance.
Lighting. They've got ambient lighting now. They do have the different nose, the different tail, the different spoiler, the different wheels.
What I mean is you're sitting in this performance car in a pretty bland sort of a seat.
Coming from a Commodore owner, mind you.
Yeah, where we've
got car
flashing lights and...
No, that's the check engine light, and traction control.
Yeah, that's it.
That was always a good thing, though. I like the Q car thing because people at the lights didn't know what was what.
What's going to kick their ass.
Exactly. So people were always up for it for that reason.
Yep.
And that's one good thing about it. I was going to try and get, but they don't fit, the standard 18s on my old model with the standard aero hubcap. So it looked total, and take the dual motor stickers off it. So it was just a total animal, but I never got around it, so I was a little bit lazy. The best thing, though, is adaptive suspension.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is supposed to be really, really good. Now, I'm not going to use my own judgment on this, because A, I haven't driven one, and B, I'm not really sure how it works, but it's all software controlled. But a guy called Jason Camissa, you heard of him?
I can't say I had.
Haggerty journalist. Well, he runs a car mudgeon podcast. He's a well-known, well-respected American journo. He did that first really cool test of the Cybertruck for Haggerty. That was really well shot, high-end production.
I remember the one.
Now, he also is famous because he did a review, the worst car he's ever driven. He wrote this in 2010, and he said, and he reread it in 2013, and he said, future buyer of this car that thinks it's a classic, don't. He used the word awful. And what car was that?
That was a GDR R35.
Yes, that is correct.
Yes.
So, he's good. He reckons these things are every...
Oh, sorry, just to butt in. Those things he mentioned that he said were horrible and awful, they are.
No, he wasn't making it up.
Yeah, it was probably the only honest review.
So he's not a bullshit artist,
No.
journalist.
Yeah.
And what he did that's upset everyone here, and he's definitely not a Tesla fanboy, and he's not an EV fanboy, but he compared it to the M3 BMW, which is twice the price, and he said this thing just does everything better. So that if you're going to have one, this car makes a BMW M3 totally irrelevant.
Yeah, okay.
So for that high praise, for the ride, the performance, the way it pins you in the seat, the way it handles, the way it stops, whatever,
Yep.
at half the price is quite a glowing thing.
Yeah.
Now, what about the performance difference between our car, the Oceania, Asia, Pacific and Europe car versus the American?
You've already told me one thing that I find a little bit concerning.
What is that?
It, for some reason, and you may know why, I don't know why, it runs a different battery pack.
Correct.
Now, to me, that seems like a weird thing to do.
It's a totally logical thing to do, because in America you have to have an American-made battery. So the reason there is a difference, are you just stargazing now?
Yeah, I was just looking at something shiny I saw outside.
It's a Cybertruck. The reason there's a difference between the battery packs is in the US, you get, if there's enough American content in the battery, you get a $7,500 federal tax credit off the car. That's like getting a $12,000 discount on a new car here.
Yeah.
So that takes the cost of the Model 3 Performance down to $45,000 US.
That's pretty good, isn't
Which
it?
is super cheap.
Yeah.
And however, the Panasonic pack does apparently have a higher discharge power than the LG pack, which we're using. So they're rating their cars at 510 horsepower and our cars at 460 horsepower. However, the 0 to 60 mile an hour times are exactly the same. And the old Model 3 used to dyno up at about 540 horsepower. So I think Tesla are just doing some regulatory number guessing here.
Yeah. Sounds all a bit
Odd.
Yeah, it does.
It is.
I don't understand how you can have the same performance if the power to weight is what dictates the performance.
And
sure.
the weight is the same. So, yeah.
Is it though?
It is. They're identical weight.
You've already decided it is?
No, I've looked at the specs of both cars and they rate them at the same weight. I mean, they're all lie about weight. That's what you and I
possibly
do.
have the same times.
Well, you
not
see, that's where you don't get
Science.
it. Because you're internal combustion person.
Right.
You've got gears that move you around in the power curve the whole time. Because you're a guy that's got all of these gears and a power curve, you're always swinging around where you are in the power curve. So more power, the more power potential changes what your car will do. With one gear, which is the best gear,
Yep.
it's how much of the battery they give you as the curve comes up and falls off. This curve comes up and goes straight. So there could still be that much headroom left in the American pack. It's all quite weird.
So they've held a little bit back, you reckon?
You don't know.
For the HSV model.
I can tell you now, there's not going to be a substantially slower version for us and a faster version for the Americans.
I hope not.
Well, the reason I say this is because my American Model 3 had a more power-productive battery pack than the Chinese Shanghai Model 3 performances, but they were around the same times.
Yep.
So I figure it's going to be an exciting thing. I've jumped in without knowing all of this.
Yep.
I can still cancel and look
You
like
won't. Why would you?
I don't know. What happens if Mum won't let me?
She will.
Well, she will, but she's not happy about it.
Hence why when you're in Sydney, you'll be looking at a...
Oh, yeah, that's why my initials have become TF, Tesla Flog. And with that, I'll update you more as we go. But thanks for coming in for these sessions, Paul.
Pleasure, Marty. I was in the neighbourhood anytime.
Ring, ring.